Sarah Moon Khan, the Labour Party candidate, 1,100. Liberal Democrats, 227. Pinar Polat, the Green Party, 813. Aziza Rahman, Local Conservatives, 325. Dominic Anthony Toomey, the Labour Party candidate, 1,060. Candidate, 994. Maureen Orby, the Labour Party candidate, 1,028. Total rejected votes were 42, and I do hereby declare that Mohammed Khan, Dominic Toomey and Maureen Orby are duly elected.
Thanks so much, everybody. I want to thank the residents that supported us and had the faith in us. I then want to thank the returning officer, all of the council staff that have worked incredibly hard, my election agent, Maureen, who's done everything, Jacob Assad, who's been our organiser, our borough organiser. Listen, it's not easy in the face of populist politics to promise things that won't be delivered. We have delivered. We'll continue to deliver. We're getting the support of our residents. We'll continue to do that. We'll improve. We will deliver what we've said we will, and we will ensure that there is no rise of popular politicians in this borough. There will be no rise of reform. We are doubling down. We're taking it back into the community. We're not divisive. We have a plan. We will bring people together rather than the politics of division and hate that reforms so in communities up and down the country. Thank you very much, everybody.
Counting overnight is pretty much done, so it's a good moment to reflect on what we can see. 1,200 or so seats counted out of the 5,000 or so, and there's a clear winner. Here they are. It's Reform UK. They've got 391 seats. They didn't contest any of these seats last time they were up, so they haven't lost any. This is the first time they have been in contention for any of them. There's a clear loser as well. That's the Labour Party. You can see that overnight they have lost 257 seats. Tories also losers, not that far behind. It's been getting worse for the Tories, 192. Some gains for the Greens, but I think we haven't seen the seats in the councils that might provide a bit of a Green surge out yet. And the Liberal Democrats doing slightly better than that. The question is, it's bad for Labour, but how bad? Now, one of the ways that we can calculate that is by taking wards across the country, imagining that the whole of the country is going to the vote, and then working out the percentages for the vote projection. And here you have Michael Thrasher's early first projection based on about 1,000 of the votes. And it tells you that they put Reform UK on 31% of the vote, the Tories on 19%, Labour on 15%, Lib Dems on 14% and the Greens on 13%. So just to put that all in a bit of context, that's Reform doing a little bit better than the opinion polls suggest at the moment, and Labour dropping into third place, with perhaps the Greens doing less well than they do in the opinion polls. But if you stand back and compare this year, these results this morning, with last year, you can see that Reform basically doing pretty much as they did last year, and the Tories just edging up a tiny bit, Labour down a tiny bit, but it was a disaster for both of those parties last year, so not really anything to cheer about for anybody. Now, let's look at the councils that changed hands. Not many of them did, but there were a handful. Most of them went into no overall control. But this one, Newcastle under Lyme, actually went from Conservative to Reform. And you can see the picture here. Reform here getting a stonking 27 seats. And that, in this council, is at the expense both of Labour, they lost 17, and of the Conservatives that lost 10. Now let's look at a Tory victory, because there were the odd glimmer of hope for the Tories. They managed to gain Westminster from Labour control, and they got it to full Conservative control. And you can see the straight swap, -9 Labour, +9 Tories. And the thing about this, the reason I've picked this seat is it's quite interesting that, bluntly, the Conservative brand in London doesn't seem to be quite as bad, maybe as it is elsewhere in the country. The metropolis, they seem to be holding up. But let's look at the picture across large swathes of England outside London, and in particular, the Red Wall. I want you to look at this. This is Hartlepool, one of the most famous places in our politics. You know, former stomping ground of Peter Mandelson. Keir Starmer nearly resigned when he didn't win a by-election here. And again, the picture, unambiguous. Reform are the winners. They won 12 seats, and that's at the expense of 4 seats from the Tories and 7 seats from Labour. But I think when you look at it visually, actually, you get a rather more stark picture. Let's look at the last time those wards were up compared to now. And you can see the blue in the more rural areas, the red. But this time it's a rout, a reform rout. They get everything. Let's look at another area. This is Wigan in Greater Manchester. You should have the Andy Burnham halo effect. Lisa Nandy is the local MP. You have Angela Rayner not that far away. In 2023, it was almost all red. What is it again? Well, it's a reform route in the whole area. Then there's Redditch in Worcestershire. Look at this. Again, healthy. You've got Labour and the Conservatives, 2 parties holding up, and now a reform route. And you can see how the vote here in Redditch has changed. You've got 37% of the vote going to Reform UK, and that is just at the expense of the Tories and of Labour. And you can look at how that has changed over time. That gives you a sense of history, right? If you start over here in 1973, you can see that the 2 parties have been jostling for the Redditch Council all the way back. But this time, for the first time, Reform UK have done very well and managed to upset the trend. Right, just a couple of interesting councils I want to draw your attention to quickly. This is Richmond. Now, it's a West London council, affluent. Lib Dems hold on to it. Not much movement, but what the movement that there is pretty interesting. Look, Lib Dems are up 6 at the expense of the Greens that are down 5. Bit surprised. Narrative was meant to be that the Greens were going to do particularly well in London, and yet they don't seem to be doing well in Richmond. Lib Dem sources put that down to some of the recent difficulties that Polanski has been having. Look at this in Oxford. Now, this is a council that has changed hands. Labour lost it to no overall control, and Labour lost 5 and the Greens gained 5. But I just wonder whether or not the Greens, you know, in a prominent university town, might have wanted to pick up slightly more than that. Now, it's early days with these elections. 1,000 out of 5,000 or so seats have been counted. There's much more to come, and that's before Scotland and Wales. But I think the biggest challenge right now is for Labour, the governing party. Those results do not look good.
Morning, Naga. I think we can go further than that. A bad night for the Labour Party. Let's just emphasise again, this is only a partial picture so far, and it's only English councils, nothing from Scotland or Wales yet. But that picture makes for very bleak viewing for the Labour Party as they digest these results this morning. The Labour Party has lost more than half of the seats which it went into last night defending, where results have been declared so far. Less than 2 years after winning a landslide at Westminster, the Labour Party is now losing votes almost everywhere. It is a very bad position for a party of government to find itself in.
So, Henry, in terms of the other parties, what are they doing? How have they done?
Well, the main beneficiaries, you were hearing from Damien there, has been Reform UK. They are doing very well in various parts of the country, but especially in the north of England, in areas which strongly voted to leave the European Union, well, almost 10 years ago now. They've also gained at the expense of the Conservative Party. And while the Conservatives have just gained a council in London from Labour, Westminster Council, the general picture for them is not very rosy. In fact, part of the story here is not just about the declining Labour vote, it's about the declining vote for the two-party duopoly, which has run Britain essentially for a century. That is a really interesting trend to watch. Liberal Democrats, it's been a night so far of consolidation, really. They gained control, as you were hearing there, of a couple of councils, but also lost control of another one. And then for the Green Party, they will be pleased with some of the gains they've made, and they seem to have gained quite a lot of votes from the Labour Party. It's not really translating into great strides forward in terms of councillors so far, but many many of their main targets will declare later today.
Henry, you know, there's been a lot of speculation, as you're well aware, of Sir Keir Starmer's leadership, his position as leader of the Labour Party and position as Prime Minister. What does all this point to at this moment in time?
It makes his position are considering their options in terms of whether to seek to find a way to force him out. But what I don't think there is some clear, coordinated, prefab plan that they are going to take off the shelf and start using this morning. I think if anything happens, it will be much more chaotic than that. One thing that I've learned since I spoke to you an hour ago is the Prime Minister is going to come out fighting this morning. We will hear from him actually fairly soon. He's in this building behind me right now, but fairly soon he's going to go to one of the relatively brighter spots of Labour's night.